Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back here to my channel where I play Planet Zoo. My name is Nissa and today we are building for the Somali Wild Ass and the Dromedary Camel. I will just mention this is the newest line of my Future Life project, so we're gonna talk more about what is being done to help these specific animals than the facts about the animals themselves. Since the Dromedary Camel is a domesticated camel, it will be limited how much I talk about that. So the focus today will be the Somali Wild Ass. If you want to hear about that or simply just see how I built this habitat, then please keep watching. The Somali Wild Ass is the prehistoric front runner from what we would call a donkey today. The donkey is basically the domesticated version of a ass, and the Somali wild ass or African wild ass, which it's also called, is actually the exact one that most domesticated donkeys comes from. It is in the horse family, being the Equidae, and therefore they also carry the genus Equus, which is the same genus as zebras, horses, and so on, and are in some cases actually described as a truly wild horse, even though most people would say it's not a horse. But again, that is up for interpretation. They do still nowadays have a lot of issues, one being the fact that they have historically had a lot of issues, but that have left them in a position where today they have between 23 and 200 living individuals in the wild according to the IUCN, and the numbers are still decreasing, which of course is why they are listed as a critical endangered species according to the IUCN Red List. Because of this, I would have thought that we had millions of places working hard to save these beautiful animals, but we actually do not. I did find a few. For instance, I found this article. Again, everything will be linked below if you want to read for yourself, because I'm not gonna mention all of it. I don't have time for that. But White Oak Wildlife, which is in the US, actually got a herd of African wild asses back in 2008, and have already, at the time this article got uploaded, I haven't seen when that is, but from 2008 till this article were written, they have produced 20 foals, which is it's a start. Again, if there's maybe even only 23 individuals in the wild at this point, then 20 foals is a good start, to be honest. But from there, it of course is about how to get them to the herds in the wild. We can't just like throw animals from captivity to the wild. We need measures to make sure that they don't get thrown out there just to die. But even though this is great and it will certainly help, it simply isn't enough. We need simply more, and we need help faster for these beautiful animals. Therefore, there have been made what is called the roadmap for the conservation of the African wild ass, Equus africanus. It is prepared with funding from the Federal Ministry for the Environment, Nature Conservation, Building and Nuclear Safety, with additional support from the IUCN SSC, which is the Species Survival Commission, and the IUCN SSC Equid Specialist Group. So this is made broad spectrum, and it's basically a 33-page long roadmap to how to help these beautiful animals in the future. It starts with an inclusive summary, and I'm gonna read the first part here just to clarify what it exactly is. And it says, the African wild ass, Equus africanus, was once widespread in North and Northeast Africa, but its range and numbers have been drastically reduced. It is currently confirmed in Eritrea and Ethiopia. There is possible presence in Djibouti, Egypt, Somalia, and Sudan. African wild ass play a vital role in the health of their arid ecosystems and can serve as flagship species for the conservation and maintenance of important landscapes. The object of this roadmap is to outline in broad terms the geographic range, population, habitat, and ecology of African wild ass and the threats that they are facing. This roadmap builds on information discussed at the range stage meeting held in March 2017 in Bonn, Germany, and a commenting process that followed. From here on out, they go down to describe more, like they are gonna look at the threats, how they can help, and these different factors. And it is supposed to be limited to a period about from 2017 to 2027, where these factors should be in place and therefore start helping the Somali wild ass. 2017 is a little while ago, and 2027 is only a few years out in the future, so this is not have not done wonders, to be honest, but it may have made the building blocks for future events that can help the Somali wild ass or African wild ass. And I will just go back to the fact that these states that the animal is only confirmed being in Eritrea and Ethiopia, and the rest of the countries are that they may still be there, but we do not know for a fact. This is also why we do not know if there's 23 individuals or 200, because they live in these really harsh environment that most animal and even people have a really hard time surviving. Now I'm gonna jump a little bit in this roadmap. Chapter 1 is the introduction and chapter 2 is status review. But I'm gonna jump to chapter 3, that is threats, which is on page 14 if anyone is want to again check. I'm actually have researched what I'm saying. The first point under threats are habitat loss and degradation. Here we are talking about something we have talked about multiple times before in my channel, but with the caveat of being a little different here. For instance, if we talked about a monkey, it would mostly be that we remove the forest, therefore no habitat. Here it's a little different. It's specified in Ethiopia and in Eritrea. The major threat of the African wild ass is the limitations both of good healthy foliage that they can eat, combined with the lack of water. Now, the Somali wild ass or African wild ass is specialized in not needing water for the most part, but if you want the females to lactate, therefore producing milk, they need water to do that, combined with the babies needing this milk to survive. So it's especially the females and the young that are really in issues in this specific part. These water and foliage issues is mainly because of livestock in the area. Again, the farmers want their animals to be the ones to survive, which I do understand, because the farmer need to make money, they need the food, they need the same basic thing as every living thing needs. So I do understand this, but they do also mention that this could be helped by basically going in and make dedicated water and foliage for the Somali wild ass in some areas, and then limit where the farmers can have their pastures going through in other areas, therefore kind of reserving food for the Somali wild ass. Keep in mind that they are not the only wild animal in these areas, so they would still have to compete some, but it would help a bit at least. Now, there will be a lot of references in these chapters, but I will not mention all of them simply because that will be like a third of the runtime in this video, so we're not gonna do that. What is funny is the habitat loss of degradation issues were Ethiopia and Eritrea, where now we go to direct mortality, which is specifically in Ethiopia and Somalia. And direct mortality is basically that instance dead, like they are killed. This is mainly for food and or medicines purposes in these areas. It is, for instance, that both the meat and the bones are used for soup that is used for treating tuberculosis, constipation, something I can't pronounce, even backache and bone ache. So there's a good chunk of different things. It have also been proven that up to 72% of 65 adult male Afar pastoralists has killed African wild ass, either for food or for medicine or both. This have been basically because they couldn't afford food or medicine for themselves and or their family, which did spur up a discussion earlier on in 2002 where the respected religious leader of the Afar region, which were Sultan Ali Mira. I'm sorry, I probably mispronounced that. I'm sorry. But he chose to support the conservation in the region, and therefore eating meat of any kind of equid, which were, again, zebras, asses, donkeys, horses, and so on. That is haram, which should be forbidden. In other countries in the area, Eritrea, for instance, this have not been an issue because guns are extremely restricted and controlled. The third threat is hybridization, which I'm gonna read here because it's a little iffy. Interbreeding with domestic donkeys is a potential threat to the survival of the African wild ass. However, there's no scientific evidence indicated introgression of domestic donkeys genes into African wild ass populations, which is, iffy at best. It's I'm gonna leave it there. Threat number 4 is small population sizes, which again, smaller sizes can either end up with having no breedable males or females, or the fact that they will simply interbreed. Again, if the only one of opposite gender is your own brother, sister, uncle, aunt, and so on, then you will interbreed in time, and that can give adverse genetic factors, which would not be good for the species overall strength of genetic. Then we have the fifth threat, that is predation, and that it simply states that predation by spotted hyena on the wild ass have been reported to be a problem in the Mizar Plateau since 2009, which is a problem, but it's hard to say something to because it's facts of life. Threat number 6 is really something that I didn't thought would be an issue, but it is mining. And I'm gonna read up again just to not confuse anyone. The Danakil Basin contains huge deposits of potash. Several exploration licenses have recently, some production licenses have been reviewed and approved in both Eritrea and Ethiopia. The potential impact of the mining activities on the wild ass habitat including on water levels and the heavy traffic caused by future potash haulage, are as yet unknown. Impact assessments have been carried out, and these have taken into account African wild ass habitat in planning roads development and water needs. So this is more a beforehand thought that this could affect the Somali wild ass, but working in front of the issue, going out and say, okay, this can become an issue. How can we work around it? Not by eliminate mining, but make mining more animal friendly. Threat number 7 is infrastructure development, which can have a few issues. One is the simple noise of building things. Have you ever lived a place where they build things? It's fucking noisy and it can scare the animals. In these proceedings, there can also be simple things like we are gonna pollute some water because of something, either something you dig up or something that you put down. Furthermore, we have two specific developments that currently will be an issue. For instance, a rail transport in Ethiopia will link Dalal to the newly developed bulk port at Tadjoure and Djibouti. And furthermore, we have a road transport in Eritrea that will link Kaloli with the port Massawa. And this will be a specific issues because this road will lay between two of the main breeding areas of the African wild ass. This means that you will simply split off the asses that breed on one side and on the other side, and therefore they will not be able to mix their genes, and they will be further fragmented, the populations, and again we will have a bigger risk of inbreeding. And I'm sorry, but I'm gonna talk over the cinematics today because this is important shit. Threat number 8 is drought and climate change. In both Eritrea and Ethiopia, there is natural drought that just happens, and that's fucked up already. But because of climate change, these are accelerating, happening more often and for longer periods of time. Again, water is necessarily for the African wild ass, though they do not, again, need water to survive. They will need water to grow. Threat number 9 is inadequate coverage of protected areas. This is simply that we have protected areas in these broader spectrum areas, but the areas where the Somali wild ass or African wild ass inhabit, those specific areas is all outside of the protected areas. There have been proposed an area called Buri Irori Havakil Nature Reserve that should be around 8,670 square kilometers big, and that would be amazing, but it haven't been officially approved yet. But keep in mind that these informations comes from 2017 and 18, so hopefully it's been approved since, but it doesn't say here. And the threat number 10, again, I'm just gonna read up because this is a little confusing. Lack of capacity. Technical and financial capacity in habitat management. Modern survey methodologies and regular monitoring of limited and hinders effective conservation. Okay guys, that's all I got for you today. I really hope you enjoyed it, and as always guys, you know the drill. Like, subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you know the next time I upload a video. I really hope to see you again, either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye guys.